Mm-mm. You need to put that down. Mm-mm. No, ma'am. Absolutely not. Girl, girl, what? Whatever it is, I don't want it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Jackie Aina. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. If you are still with me after the first review of the KKW Beauty launch, you're a real one, that's for sure. I got a lot of requests to review the new version, the powder version of the KKW Beauty contour highlight kits that she just recently launched. These were already in production by the time her first launch released, so whatever feedback she could have taken or garnered from that first launch, I don't really necessarily blame her for not implementing that in this launch now, because there's no way she could have stopped it and like fixed it or whatever, what have you. So Kanye has come out with a 4-color quadruple highlight contour kit. She's trying her hand at the powder version of the contour world. I really had no intentions of reviewing this, but it was actually you guys again the day after this was announced, which I was really surprised to hear. A lot of you guys still wanted me to review it and try it out. Not as many requests for the first launch as I got on this one. Now, while I do love a good rose, I actually want you to learn something, and I feel like it doesn't really do you a disservice to just sit here and talk crap. Just taking her name out of it, I'm going to first review the product, and then I'm going to add my comments about like her as a brand a little bit later on, because I do believe that people are allowed to make informed decisions. And to be honest, I feel like if you're going to make a product that is supposed to be geared towards people like me, I'm going to share my thoughts on it, because if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right. Okay, girl, I'm just saying. This is the dark / deep dark contour kit that she created. First initial thoughts, we all saw the swatches. We all probably thought and said the same thing. I was just wondering why you were swatching a deep dark contour kit on someone that wasn't deep dark. Like, I'm confused. Like, that does nothing to help me. I actually saw Nima Tang. Nima Tang, if you don't know who Nima Tang is, you need to go subscribe to her channel right now. She swatched what I contour with, okay? What I contour with. So this color that I contour with on someone who was like Dennis, my man, hey boo, or Nima Tang shade looks like my foundation color on them. That's how disparaging swatches can be. And sometimes I'm almost like, I'm almost kind of like over swatches. Like, I get that people want to see shade range and variety, but I don't think they give you a true representation of what a product is going to look like. And there's also other factors to like consider. Like, you're not going to just swatch it and then not blend it in. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, this isn't about swatches. I'm just sharing my 2 cents. So I said all of that to say, Kim, those swatches were not helpful in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. I don't know what the heck. I don't know, girl. I don't know. Okay, do better. Thank you. As I said, there are 3 kits. I have the dark, deep dark. I also have the light kit, and I have medium, and these retail for what looks like $52. Do I think it's worth it? I really won't know until I try the product. I'm already kind of leaning towards a no. So with the contour kit though, you do get a brush. I'm hoping and praying to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit that this one is better than the first brush from the first launch, because that was terrible. I learned a cool thing today though. These are actually detachable. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if anyone cares. I certainly probably wouldn't, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. So in this set, we've got 2 highlighters and then what looks to be a warmer contour and then a cooler contour. Now, okay, let me just break down how contouring works. So when you're contouring, you're creating shadow. I get what Kanye was trying to do, but first initial thoughts is this is a lot too gray, like a little too much gray. The colors are kind of giving me like Yeezy season 1 aesthetic, you know, like I don't want to wear Yeezy colors on my face. I'm going to show you a great example of how gray, in my opinion, it should, like the gray that she should have been going for. If you were trying to actually like Naomi Campbell your face, you do actually need something that's got a little bit more grayer tones to it, but not full on gray. So first initial thoughts is this is looking a little too ashy for me. This color is great, Kim. My next gripe, and whether or not people like it, I really don't care. The first initial thought is this should have been a dark kit, and then I think you should have launched a 4th deep dark kit. When you call this dark / deep dark, it actually makes me feel like this kit is not even supposed to be for me. It makes me feel like this kit is more for someone who maybe has like a Mediterranean olivey tan, almost like someone who's like Alyssa Ashley shade. Like, I feel like this product is not even though I can use it, I kind of feel like this is a little too light. Okay, you could have added one more and it could have been better. I don't get why people think that the deeper dark category is secondary. It's like an afterthought. You are missing a huge demographic, girl. A really huge one. There are people darker than me, and I think that they should definitely be spoken for. And the second thing I want to know is, why is Kim not testing this product out on Kanye? Like, if you don't have something for Kanye, because I know damn well, because I'm sure as hell no. Looks like he's a little bit darker than me, so I'm just wondering how did that fly past him, okay, is what I'm wondering. But I also highly, highly, highly doubt that Kim curated and created this product herself, because if she did, she would not know to use something that's gray tone. I'm like almost 95% positive Uncle Mario Dedivanovic stepped in and was like, hey girl, this is what you're gonna do, you know, because he's an artist, so he understands how color theory works. However, as a woman of color and as an artist myself, I think this is a little too gray. Okay, enough yapping. Let me start demoing. So I watched the video because I know y'all like to clown me and say that I don't do my research on products, when I most certainly do. Sometimes when you sit down though and like when you film the product, some of that stuff kind of like, you just forget it and then you just get into like work mode or whatever. So I'm just gonna do the best that I can based on the demonstration that I saw on KKW's website, okay? I went straight to the source, so I don't want anybody in the comments complaining. Thank you. First, I saw Mario take the angled side and the warmer contour, and because I am so scared of what this gonna look like, I'm going in with minimal product and then I'm going to build my way up, okay? And I'm not sure if you can tell, but there's a bit of a sharp line there. I didn't contour. The only thing I did add was lighter setting powder here to kind of like cut the cheek, as Mario called it, so that I have like a guideline, and I do that anyway whenever I contour. Also, while I blend, first initial thoughts on the brush is this is way better of a brush than the first one. So far, it's actually not too bad. That's actually a really pretty color. I'm gonna blend just a teensy bit more. I also felt like, based on the demo, like Mario took a very light-handed approach, which I guess if you are spending $52 on a contour kit, you should be using a less is more approach, because that's not cheap at all. And this is coming from the high-end queen, okay? I don't mind spending money on products, but I'm just saying, Kim, girl, you coming for YSL and Chantecaille, aren't you? I see you. So now I'm just going along my 5 head, which definitely could use some shadow. I actually have 2 mirrors right now. I have a magnifying mirror, and then I have like a regular mirror, so I can see things at all angles. While I do find this brush to be not bad, it's just a little too dense and not fluffy enough for my face shape. I feel like I'm getting a lot of harshness from this brush, and I got an event to go to, so I would really appreciate it if this thing works out, okay? I'm always doing first impressions on products when I have to go somewhere. Why do I do that? I just be taking risks for y'all. Do y'all see what I do? So I'm definitely seeing some depth here. I'm just not particularly fond of the brush. I don't think I'm getting the blend that I need. It's not bad along the jawline, just too narrow of a brush. Okay, now let's go in with the cooler contour. This is supposed to be warmer, and this is supposed to be cool. You can even see the difference between the two in the brush. That automatically looks like shadow, and that's super like warm. It's not quite bronzy warm though. It's definitely not a bronzer. Now that depth is definitely there. Now these two paired together are actually not bad. You know, not a bad idea. I actually saw Nikki tutorials using this as an eyeshadow palette. I think it would make a great eyeshadow palette. Not $52 worth though, not $52 worth. Now just so you can see the difference between the warm side and the warm plus cool, I'm gonna give you a side by side. Here is what it looks like when I used warm plus cool, and then here is just the warm side. So let's even it out. I'm gonna actually try my hand at working with it on my nose. So I'm gonna take a combination of both warm and cool, dust off the excess because I don't do this often. I'm gonna use each highlight like on each side of my face so you can see what both of them look like. First, we have a peachy toned one, and then we have one that looks more like a bronzy gold. So here's the deep dark highlight stick or cream. And then here is the gold shade from the Deep Dark Powder. So, all right, this one's a little bit more copper red and this one's more gold, but they're kind of within the same color family. The other side of the brush is supposed to be used for the highlighters, which I'm already not particularly fond of because it's very fat. Like, it's almost like opposite, you know? Like, I almost kind of feel like I could have contoured with this side because it's fluffier and it's fat, whereas this one was really more pointed and tapered. And I typically like to highlight with more pointed, tapered brush shapes. That's just because of my face shape. My face shape is narrow, so I feel like too big, you just gotta know what brush serves what purpose, you know, like what brush is invited to what dinner party, feel me? Because you can't all have them chilling at the same events, you know what I mean? So the first thing I'm gonna do is take this peach one with the edge of the pointed brush and go right in. So it's actually not too bad. And the brush isn't as tricky to work with as I thought it was. That highlight's really, ooh, that's really pretty. Whoa, I looked at the monitor and it went, that was a lot. Okay, I wasn't going for that intense. I always have to remember, like, what you see on the monitor is not what I see in person. It's just so intense because of the lights. But this is, I actually find this to be a very flattering color. Now I'm gonna take the bronzy one, which is kind of like the darker one. I almost kind of felt like this was meant to be like the lighter version and the darker version. Now I am going to wipe off excess product off of my brush so the colors aren't transferring, so you can see what they really look like. And that to me is super pretty. That's really pretty. And let's also do my forehead trick and a little bit down my nose. So here is the first highlighter on my forehead and cheekbone, and then here is the second, which is the gold on my forehead and cheekbone. Let's round out my thoughts, shall we? Okay, so in a nutshell, would I recommend the KKW Contour Highlight Powder Palette? Kind of yes and no. Personally, this isn't necessarily a product that I would buy, only because like I already have enough standalone products that I really like that already get the job done. I don't find contour palettes useful just because they never have enough of what I need, and there's always like one wonky shade that I just can't use. And I feel like out of a 4-color palette, like that's a fourth of product that I'm not going to be using, so that's a waste. That could be a waste of money for some people. Overall, I found this to actually be very flattering on my skin tone, simply because it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It added depth and dimension to my face. The highlighters actually did suit my skin tone, and they were flattering, and they weren't like off-putting ashy. I think the biggest thing I want KKW, the whole team, everyone, publicists, you know, Kim, I know you have a whole team of them. One thing that you guys have to consider is like, if you are going to make products for people with darker skin, like if you're trying to meet that market, you have to know your audience. Yeah, if you're gonna do swatches on people, do it on someone of darker skin. It's getting to a point where it's kind of like, I don't even expect her to know, you know, like I'm not gonna come to her for a product that fits me. Like I already have other markets. There are already people who meet that market already. So I don't know. I mean, do you think she should be held to the same standard or not? Like I do, but I'm kind of like, I'm already looking to other people to get it right, and I don't expect her to get it right. I don't expect a lot of other people to get it right. I still kind of think she kind of like missed the boat with the whole contour kit thing. Everyone's already doing it. Anastasia's doing it and like succeeding at it. I also wanted to give you guys dupe options because like I said, I would not spend $52 on this. I think it's definitely pricey, although the packaging is beautiful to me. We get a nice big old cute mirror. But Black Radiance actually has been making these tri-color contour highlight palettes, and I think they're freaking phenomenal. This is the light to medium kit. They only have 2 of them, I believe. And then this is the medium to dark. They actually, for some odd reason, don't have a kit darker than this. And this one, like, would be considered, it's almost kind of like the exact same equivalent of the Kim K kit. You have a warmer contour and then you have a cooler one. This one barely even fits me. They definitely could have gone darker. I'm not even really sure why, and that's supposed to be a brand that's aimed at people of color, so I don't really know why they missed the mark on that. Makeup Geek also has some contour powders that run super dark, and I mean like cocoa dark. Like these are probably the only mainstream products that I can think of that run this dark that you can get on a fraction of the price of the Kim K contour kits. On the professional side, there's always Graftobian. I think Sasha still does a phenomenal job at creating foundation contour palettes that come in super dark shades. I know people may not like that answer, but it's kind of like at the point where it's like, you just never gonna change, girl. You just never gonna change. Maybe I'm just a lot of disappointed, but then again, I don't expect her to be the expert on people of color, but I do, however, if you're gonna call something dark, medium dark, get it right. I'm just saying, do it correctly, do it properly, and make sure that you're in the lab with people who look like me and darker and are testing that product out. And please bring Kanye West with you. He couldn't help you approve this. I'm just wondering, Kim. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is Kim's recent comments on what I'm gonna say to that is, if you're gonna speak about something, just make sure you have the full context and you have the full story, because like I said, if you are going to make products that you want people to buy in a specific category or demographic, you might want to be sensitive to what their needs are. And the last thing that we need here is get over something or move on from something. You should have just sat there and ate your food. The comments right off the bat were inappropriate and really unnecessary. Like, what was the point? Like, why were you defending that? Why? Right now, more than ever, especially in 2017, people are putting their buying power where they feel will not only benefit them like on their face, but like in other ways. So if I'm supporting a brand that uplifts the Black community, that donates to LGBTQ communities, that tells me like, I feel like I'm getting more of my money's worth. You know, like it's not just makeup anymore. It's like, it's bigger than that. And if you don't align yourself with people, then they're not going to buy your product. If anything, people are going to go out of their way to not buy it, because basically what that says to them is, you just want to make money off of me. You don't give a crap about my community and how those issues are affecting me. Most of you guys already know what those comments that she was just recently defending are. I don't have to repeat them or say them, and I don't even want to get too deep into that, but I think that people should just be mindful of that, like especially as a brand owner. And even as with the makeup products, you should have consulted, you should have asked, you know, where are the people of color in the boardrooms helping you make those decisions with you, so that you know not to speak over people who are affected by racist comments, racist prejudices, and racist practices in the beauty, especially in the beauty community of all places. But at the same time, like I said earlier, a lot of times I don't really expect much, you know? Like, I mean, what's going on? What's that about? Now, if Kim was a woman of color, I would definitely hold it to a higher standard, but for the most part, I kind of don't. I really hope this doesn't become a situation where I have to turn off the comments, just because people tend to get very aggressive when it comes to this topic. But I'm not defending her. I'm also not really for her either. I'm just here talking about something that people asked me to talk about. Check out the dupes that I talked about earlier. I will also be linking them down in the description box down below. All in all, I will say that while this is a step up from her first launch, I do think, again, it's kind of skippable. I think you kind of missed the boat. You're a little too late on the contour complexion products. Think of how many other beauty brands already exist on the market. You have to give us something different. I don't feel like this is different enough. I think it's cute. I don't think on its own, like if you didn't know who Kim K was, would you buy this? What's the tea? I'm just saying. And I think a great way that she could have spun that and made it the unique spin is by adding more extensive shades. And as you can see, she's missed the mark on that. So those are my thoughts on the KKW Contour Highlight Kits. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to see the first interesting review of the first launch, I'm just gonna leave it here, and you know what to do. Thank you again so much for watching and supporting my channel, and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Bye!